I know that I said that I had made my last lawn video in the last video that I made, but something's come up today that I thought I should probably show you and talk about slightly before it gets to the winter season, and that is watering. But first, let me thank you so much for watching that last video. I really spent a lot of time on that video, and I really wanted to also share the whole bonus footage thing that was on there. I had worked on that quite a bit for probably a couple weeks or so, going out and getting footage and then trying to piece that all together and put it into an edit and make a story out of it. Though that's some of the most fun that I have filming, is when I can be just creative like that, kind of create something out of nothing. So thank you so much for all the comments on there and all the encouragement and everything. I'm probably more addicted to, or I should say at least the same amount addicted to, video production and cinematography and learning that side of the world as I am into the lawn stuff. So all that encouragement is just great, so thank you so much for that. So today, let's talk about watering. And most of you probably, if you have an irrigation system, it's already winterized if you're in a region where that has to be done like I am. Also, you probably have put away a lot of your hoses or sprinklers and all that stuff before the winter season. It has been much below our normal temperatures. But what's happened here is I've been noticing the lawn is getting very dry, and we have not had any rain for a couple weeks, something like that. And so if you think about it in terms of the summer, you know, a couple weeks of no rain, you would really start to see the grass getting dry. But the same thing happens somewhat in fall because of the lack of humidity. It's sucking any of the moisture out of the ground, but there's no real extreme sunlight there to beat down onto the ground to take a lot of that moisture. So it hangs around a lot longer, and I think in our minds we're thinking that we don't need to do any more watering. And sometimes I even am in that mindset, especially once all the irrigation is done or all of my stuff is put away. I really don't want to pull it back out and have to pull hoses around and all of that. But today I'm going to take a soil probe. I'm going to look at where kind of the moisture is in my lawn and just kind of show you the state of what it looks like. It's hard to explain exactly what a lawn looks like when it needs water, but once you have some experience with it, you will notice a sort of dry, wilty type look to it. And I don't necessarily feel like there's an extreme amount of dryness happening right now, but there's nothing really in the forecast for me as far as moisture. So if I have to do a little watering, I might just have to do that. This area right here is obviously where I'm walking by my shed all the time anyway, so it's kind of compacted, but you get a sense of how dry it is. And definitely starting to crack as well. Fell apart here slightly, but this was like that. So what I found was that probably there's some moisture, especially down in this section, which is fine, but up here towards the top it does feel pretty dry. So we see we have roots going all the way down, like they're down into that lower section for sure. I mean, there's a little moisture in there, not a lot. This feels much more dry up here, and this is where most of my root is going to be at. So it's definitely dry right into this section. I like to get some water going into there, just not let things dry out too much. There's really nothing more to it than that. I got my tuna can out there and I put down around a ½ inch of water, somewhere close, probably slightly less, but that's okay. I got a good soaking down on it, and even walking on it you can feel it's a lot less dry. So I have a few more areas to do. My backyard I already watered in with my winterizer fertilizer, so that one doesn't need it right now, but some of the other small areas are more difficult to water, but I'll do my best. Alright, so what do you do with some other areas like this area over here that I have that is kind of irregular as far as the shape goes? It's not easy to use a regular sprinkler on it. Well, this is the whole reason why I kept this above ground sprinkler system that I have, and why it has worked so well for me over the years when I didn't have an irrigation system, which was the whole time up until this season. So if you want to build something like this, it is really not that difficult. I will link to a video down in the description if you have not seen it. I've showed this in many of my videos before, so a lot of you have seen it, but this whole system in general is perfect for areas like this that are hard to cover with regular sprinklers, and it covers it well as long as you're getting pretty close to head-to-head coverage with it. Essentially, it's almost in the exact same locations that my in-ground sprinklers are in. It's just I'm using hoses and I'm able to remove it, and I'm able to water now when I need the water, and my system is already shut down the in-ground system. Pretty self-explanatory process there. That was the first time I've also used that hose. I got that on a clearance for cheap at Walmart, and unfortunately I didn't even realize I bought the 1/2 inch instead of one that has a slightly bigger opening to it. So I had the thing full blast and I have good water pressure here, but I noticed the impact sprinkler wasn't putting out quite as much water as it usually does with a hose. It's a little bit bigger, but in general, way easier to use those hoses and wrap them up and not have the big heavy hoses that I'm used to carting those around and all that stuff. So I don't know how long term it will work for me, but it was cheap and I decided to try one, and I like it a lot better so far than the traditional hoses, so we'll see how it turns out. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. I have a few more things I think yet coming up this season. Probably not outside working too much more. It's going to be very cold, as I said, but a few other things I have in mind for ideas. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.